I mun títarne an teilig I mura atá Johnny Pilkington le tamala nuas. Ní nach chúna chur se seola na chlú mad le doch agus é le feiscint go Realtown.
We have a nice little bit of a day trade here. So that's lads come in, we play cards, have the chat, the banter. But it wouldn't be, we wouldn't be that big mad, you know, those pubs there on a Saturday night and maybe full. But every now and again then what we do is, you know, there'd be parties. I always went for the couple of pints in the local. I wasn't going to be one of these lads to, you know, go off to some discreet pub somewhere. And what it did and what it helped me to do was that it helped to take that nervousness, that butterfly. The 3 or 4 pints always gave you that kind of good night's sleep.
I genuinely believe that he did it for himself, to motivate himself. He wanted people to see him that, you know, I'll train, I'll play, I'll do it my way, I'm a maverick, but now I'll go out in the field and I'll perform. And it nearly drove him on.
I think there was deep-rooted nerves with Johnny. And I think he found them difficult to control at times for the really, really big games.
We never passed any remarks. I'd say if he wasn't performing, if he wasn't the player he was, if he wasn't the type of leader he was, it would have been an issue, obviously, on the squad, but it was never an issue with Johnny.
It all kind of comes back to, you know, how you perform on the day, regardless of what you do. So I think my performances, in a lot of situations we won, which means your scrutiny isn't as deep as it would. And then the days that we lost, I kind of played well enough to avoid the scrutiny of what went on prior to that.
Séhí treis creibh na hair na bhuachan le Iváilí, hí Johnny Pilkington haar nashe barca chrócaig ina chaptéanar bhíre agus iad sa tóir a géad chreibh éireann in ag gún lathí for nar tugadh seanstáil líade.
We did take our eye off the ball. We weren't, some of us, weren't 100% tuned in, myself included.
It's a slow build-up here. That was very good shot, which has found the range and gone over the bar.
An lásan níra bíre I mar mahasa agus bhí an táileo críoch nuair chó scór.
Declan Pilkington been told on you go in spite of the foul. He shortens the grip of the stick and puts it over the bar. And Sawyer in front.
It was kind of major relief in terms of we felt we were after getting out of jail. It was a game there that in one way shouldn't have drawn.
The All-Ireland Cup hurling replays on its way in. The man getting it there is the number 12, and it's a goal for Burr. Has he got a score? He sends it across towards Cahill. The ball gone in. Pilkington with the ball, and it's in the back of the net. It's all over. Dunline never rode the flag in the first half. Never looked like catching this Burr team.
It was marvellous being the first club in Offaly to win it, and it was great bringing it back to the town. And again, you know, you're talking about, you know, you're on the back of a lorry or the back of a train back into the square in Burr, where there's, you know, loads of people out there waiting to cheer you on and slap you on the back and tell you you're a great lad.
Ag an bhail tú a bhaile, bhí riméidir Johnny agus noch tearún an bhuad an flúr.
We produced the goods, we went off the beer, we went off the cigarette. And we stayed with our own women.
Treis tá creibh na hair na bhuachan glenna club, ronaíocht Johnny mar chaptéin Iváilí. Dúchláán mórda bheith a chéad ghúlgus, a cho imreoirí a bheile a machas a darne agus luíosteachar a draenáil.
They said to me, Johnny, you go back and tell Eamon Cregan, we'll be back on whatever. We're after winning the Club All-Ireland, first Club All-Ireland ever. We won't be back for a few days. And I says, right, okay. Next morning, anyway, I ring Cregan and I says to Eamon was talking to the lads and they said, listen, they'd like a few more days off or whatever. He says, no. As the day was going along, I met Regan. I says, what are we going to do? And Regan turned to sure, listen, we'll go for a pint up here, up the road.
Eamon Cregan didn't take too kindly because we were all dropped for the league quarter-final the following Sunday against Cork, but we had a great night. We really didn't care actually that night, so it's a great night. Johnny made the call as captain though.
This is the next century where the universe...
Fenna ma bhfuil Íomhaile le cílchine a glutha Canis Lion, viidir stiglo féin a ríist, agus mar aimimecá crothu go maith.
Cregan at this stage was after kind of getting into our heads that the whole media was saying that Kilkenny were favourites and that Kilkenny weren't giving us any respect after winning the All-Ireland last year and the way we were, and this kind of had our backs up a bit.
Nice sidestep here by Johnny Regan, steadying himself from low. And is it a goal? It is! Down towards Billy Dooley again. John Troy knocking it forward to himself. The ground stroke. That's a wonderful point. Johnny Dooley avoiding the block of Liam Cohen. Lobbed inside towards Pat O'Connor against Pat Dwyer. That's a brilliant, brilliant goal. Taken by Michael Diagon. It's all over. And on we are once again the Leinster champions. Champions for the 9th time in all.
That was a marvellous moment to lift that. I think it was just, and even when you look back on it, I don't know how it is, but the colour seems to stand out, and the jerseys, the wet day, the performance from Offaly.
Mar chaptaen, the Íomhaile stúrige Johnny go clutha Canis na hÉireann, agus inis asúil le bheith an gathú fearr riamh as Íomhaile a gáardóch corn bhecártha.
You're coming in now to meet Clare, who we had no history with. They'd come along and won Munster. We were raging hot favourites, probably a tag that didn't suit us that well over the years.
Billy Dooley's final ball in there, missed by Brian Lohan in a typical fashion, and that's Joe Troy. Oh, that's a goal!
A teanna le deir na clutha, the Íomhaile chun tosig agus an chumar scéal gimach Johnny a drap a chéimena Ardánaí O'Gáin nuair a bheir tobaistartha.
Batted down by the goalkeeper. It's a goal! It's a goal by Eamon Trapp!
As the gods were shining down on us the year before, and on many occasions he decided to shine on Clare that day.
It's the dream for every player to win an All-Ireland final, but the absolute pinnacle must be surely to be a captain, to climb the steps on the first Sunday in September. So I do think that's something that really, really hurt Johnny for a long time, and I always think it will.
I think that loss maybe lingered in his head, because it would have been a remarkable year for Johnny Pilkington.
On the Tuesday, I remember sitting in the back of a pub in Burr, just myself and John Troy, and nothing there. Like, it's just the two of us were on our own, and at 3 o'clock on the Tuesday, it was over. The year, the whole thing was gone. It was nothing.
Trí bliana níos déanaí, bhí bearta th naisteach le Canis na hÉireann ina ceannas na clubanna a bears na nóchadaí. Agus an lá son a gcuine na Sarshéalach, bheadh Johnny a marcáil duine na léchre bevósa tír.
No one really would have known that in 98, Johnny Mark and Joe Cooney was a really seminal moment for Johnny.
I had to go in and I had to mark him. And obviously that would have been, kind of a daunting enough task. Cooney was probably was head and shoulders above an awful lot of players.
Still in a threatening situation. Here's a problem. Oh, it's there! Oh, wonderful goal to start it all. Johnny Pilkington. And that's gone over the bar.
Nuair a bhí Johnny ag immert imreoir mór le rá. Is an sin a chunig mar teaspáintas levéal níos fearr fósúil.
Towards Joe Cooney. the stick there broken, the stick there of Johnny Pilkington. Sheer commitment on both their parts. Brian Mullen sending it into midfield. Joe Cooney rises up with his feet for it back.
Brian Mullins, very laid-back character, brilliant goalkeeper, so he was. And Padjo's given the old half-time talk anyway, and he goes, right, Brian, keep the ball away from Joe Cooney. He's their danger man, keep it away from him. So that was grand, he goes on to them, and then next thing Mullins turns around to me and says, which one's Joe Cooney? He says, I look at Mullins, you really have to get out, so yeah.
That's a great cut from Johnny Pilkington. That's outside by Peter Cooney there towards Michael McGrath, having an unhappy afternoon. Johnny Pilkington, by comparison, has had a fantastic afternoon. Burr have won the Tommy Moore Cup for the second time in this decade.
It was very, very satisfying. I really, really have to say I enjoyed it. I you know, in terms of any of them.
Joe Erity, the captain, lifting the cup. Borough champions for the second time in their history.
Better come around to the new way. Oh, watch as it all breaks down here under the pressure.
Is saoil an bliana 1998 agus Michael Babs Keating in the Vanish Store, chuig Johnny chun parkio de chluthe Canish Lion in Ag Chilchinne. Ba chluthe é amach implachtaí mórige den go réil den gréamh.
The defence exposed, Charlie! The sides are level. DJ blasts it into the back of the Offaly net. It's the 56th title for Kilkenny.
Agus é labhart leis na meáin in éigean chluthe, the cháin Babs na himimeóirí go láidir, rud a chur an gover Johnny, agus rud ná fiatach sé chur suas leis.
It wouldn't have made a bit of difference if I said it in Tipperary or Kilkenny or Hurling County. I don't want to upset Offaly people again, but when I say Hurling County, the traditional Hurling counties like Cork or Tipperary or Kilkenny, counties that had won several All-Irelands. What I said was so immaterial, but some Offaly players took offence to it.
The whole onus came down on top of the players. And that just kind of stuck with me. Martin Brettany contacted me then the next day. I was just telling him my own feelings that I was disappointed.
Nu a bhés ag gcuine céir de Harloch ag an ám. nó conas mar a chríoch nach cuasaí.
Our county board chairman Brendan Ward was on the 6 o'clock or the 9 o'clock news and said it came down between the players and the management, an issue, and we're backing our players all the time.
It was interesting to see, I think, maybe the respect that Johnny had among the players and among the county board, that, you know, while he had this joke, you know, he had this sort of persona of being the joker, they understood very clearly that he was speaking from the heart about hurling that he cared deeply about.
Fin Deirdín in the Yessen and im Niech Michael Band nar a Moran Ahne Egenger, mar Vanish Door.
Very enthusiastic, just told Michael Bond. I'm from Loughrea. I'm in Loughrea, principal of the Loughrea school. I think you're fabulous hurlers. I love the way you play. And then next thing, and that's why we're going to play it. And Brustigee. And if we heard Brustigee once, we heard it 50 million times every training session.
Bhí sé nám don na lads inis, seasamh sós agus an a cuid cainte a dhéanamh ar an bar.